Here's the brief. News from the world over this week. The United States Supreme Court has again sided with the Obama administration on the Affordable Care Act. In a 6-3 ruling, the justices decided that those who get health insurance through federal exchanges will be eligible for subsidies, even though the 2010 law only stipulates subsidies for those insured through state exchanges. The justices got around that, ruling that the language was ambiguous, but Congress intended to improve health insurance markets, not destroy them. Since 34 states chose not to set up exchanges, 8.7 million people get their insurance through federal exchanges. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the majority opinion and was joined by Justice Anthony Kennedy and 4 of the liberal members of the court. In a blistering dissent, Justice Antonin Scalia called the court's decision quite absurd, and the court's 21 pages of explanation make it no less so. This decision will surely be remembered, he said, as evidence that the court does whatever it takes to uphold and assists its favorites. He suggested that the law should now be called SCOTUS Care. This is a big win for the president. And the Republican Congress gave President Obama another victory this week. On Wednesday, the Senate approved a 6-year renewal of trade promotion or fast-track authority. The measure restricts Congress to a mere up or down vote on trade deals negotiated by the president. Obama and supporters in Congress said the president needed the fast-track authority to finalize the 12-nation Trans-Pacific Partnership deal, which encompasses more than 60% of the world's economic production. The Senate approved the bill 60-38. Democrats overwhelmingly voted against it, as did 5 Republicans. And the Supreme Court of Mexico got out in front of their U.S. counterparts in a same-sex marriage ruling this past week. The Mexican High Court ruled that state laws which define marriage as the union of a man and a woman are discriminatory and unconstitutional. The court said in its decision that since the purpose of marriage is not procreation, there is no justification for restricting marriage to heterosexuals. The bishops of Mexico said that the court got it wrong. They noted that the family is founded on the marriage between a man and a woman who can procreate and therefore guarantee the survival of society. Mexico is 80% Roman Catholic. Meanwhile, in Rome, hundreds of thousands, perhaps as many as 1 million people, gathered in defense of traditional marriage. Organizers aim to support a child's right to a mother and father, and they oppose what they call gender ideology education and early childhood sex education. Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi and the country's left-leaning government are pushing for the approval of same-sex civil unions by July. In the Middle East, more Islamic State atrocities. To mark the Islamic holy month of Ramadan, ISIS in Syria is offering female sex slaves as top prizes for a Quran memorization contest. Memorizing the Quran is a common practice of piety for Muslims, and 2 boys have reportedly been crucified by ISIS for not fasting during Ramadan. According to the UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the boys' bodies were on display with placards hung around their necks announcing their crime. Meanwhile, the ISIS propaganda website posted videos of their latest executions. 5 people were drowned in cages. 4 others were locked in a car that was then hit by a rocket-propelled grenade. 6 others were decapitated after explosives tied to their necks were detonated. And according to the latest United Nations figures, more than 3 million Iraqis have been displaced due to the terror wrought by ISIS. The majority of refugees are from the Anbar province, captured by ISIS last summer. Despite U.S. coalition airstrikes that are aimed at returning the territory to the Iraqi government, Anbar remains under ISIS control. And the table is set for the upcoming Synod on the Family. The blueprint for the Synod was released this week, outlining the topics to be addressed. Cardinal Walter Casper's controversial proposal to admit divorced and remarried Catholics to Holy Communion after a penitential process is in the document. The working document notes that some Synod fathers during last year's meeting in Rome maintained that divorced and remarried persons, or those living together, can have fruitful recourse to a spiritual communion. Others raised the question as to why, then, they cannot have access to sacramental communion. Also up for discussion, how to welcome and respect gays in the Church, as well as pastoral care for them and their families. There is no mention in the document of ministering to those in homosexual unions. Italian media are reporting that the Vatican's top doctrinal body has ruled that there is no evidence of supernatural activity surrounding the purported Marian apparitions at Medjugorje. According to multiple reports, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith affirmed the findings of a special papal commission this week. That commission cast doubt on the Medjugorje phenomenon, which began in 1981. From that time on, 6 visionaries have claimed that the Virgin Mary appeared to them and that she continues to do so. The CDF decision will reportedly be passed on to Pope Francis, who will render a final judgment. The CDF is recommending that pilgrimages to Medjugorje not be forbidden, provided that they do not center on the alleged apparitions. We'll continue to follow this story. And some sad news. Sister Nirmala, Mother Teresa's successor at the Missionaries of Charity, passed away this week after a long struggle with heart disease. She was 81 years old. Sister Nirmala was a Catholic convert from Hinduism. She joined the Missionaries of Charity at 17. She developed a close relationship with Mother Teresa, who encouraged her to study law and open new houses in Panama, New York, and Kathmandu. Sister Nirmala succeeded Blessed Mother Teresa as head of the order upon her death in 1997. May Sister Nirmala rest in peace. And finally, some good news. I've been wanting to share this with you for weeks. Today is the official cover release for my new book for young readers and the young at heart. Will Wilder, The Relic of Perilous Falls. It is the story of the aforementioned Will Wilder, a mischievous, headstrong 12-year-old with an otherworldly gift who borrows a powerful relic for his own purposes and accidentally unleashes an ancient evil. You'll have to read the rest. I'm just crazy about Jeff Nentrup's incredible cover, and here it is. It captures the spirit and wonder of the first book in this fun and occasionally frightening series. It'll be published by Random House Kids in March of 2016. You can pre-order it now at Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and the EWTN Religious Catalog. And I want to give you a chance to win an advance copy. If you go to my Twitter or Facebook accounts and repost or retweet the image of the book cover to your friends, you'll instantly be registered to win one of 10 preview copies that I'm giving away. Now make sure you retweet or include Raymond Arroyo or at Raymond Arroyo in your tweet so I know what you did. On July 9th, I'll announce the 10 winners selected at random and send them a signed edition. It is the perfect read for all adventurers 8 to 80. Can't wait for you all to read the whole book. And if you'd like me to come speak to your group or school or parish or library, drop me a line at raymond@raymondarroyo.com. Put book in the subject line and give me the contact info. I'll try to work your visit into my March book tour.